1969 split was in favor of Indira Gandhi because no big idea came from 24 Akbar Road. Congress of Nehru, Congress of Shastri, Congress of Indira, becomes very different from Congress of Rajiv Gandhi.
Hello and welcome to the Federal. On the 15th of January, the Congress party will be moving to a new address, 9A Kotla Road. The current address of the Congress headquarters, is nothing short of a a landmark, an iconic address in Delhi, 24 Akbar Road. It's an address, it's an office that the Congress had moved in back in 1978. Uh, 46, 47 long years. Through these long years, the party has seen various ups and downs. Uh, it's seen various prime ministers from its ranks, various Congress presidents. It's seen the phase of Indira Gandhi, her bounce back after the emergency, after the 1977 elections. It's seen the ascension of Rajiv Gandhi after the assassination of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and then the fall of Rajiv Gandhi, and in a way, him rediscovering himself ahead of the 91 elections, and then, of course, his assassination. And then the period of non-Gandhi leadership of the Congress under Narasimha Rao as Prime Minister, Mr. Sitaram Kesri as the Congress President, and then Sonia Gandhi's entry into politics, and then her rise as Congress President, followed by the Congress forming the UPA, coming to power for 10 long years, and then its fall. Also, Rahul Gandhi's entry, and now Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, after a very long gap, a non-Gandhi Congress president again. Through all of these dramatic events, the one constant has been 24 Akbar Road. And so that is an address that holds immense significance for a lot of people within the Congress, for Congress reporters, depending on how comfortable you've been with it. It's either your second home or your second office. I have with me today Mr. Rasheed Kidwai, a very senior journalist, author of many books, including a book called 24 Akbar Road. We'll discuss with Mr. Kidwai the importance of 24 Akbar Road, and as the Congress moves to 9A Kotla Road, what this also perhaps signifies for the Congress at this point in time. Welcome, Mr. Kidwai.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
So let me start up asking 24 Akbar Road, also the name of one of your books. How important a landmark has this been in politics in Delhi, and also, the circumstances in which the Congress moved to this address from its previous address of Jantar Mantar Road, which were no less dramatic than all the drama that the Congress has seen at this address over the last 47 years.
Yeah. So, Preet, I think there is one very big similarity that exists between 24 Akbar Road and 9A Kotla Marg, is that the party is in huge crisis, existential crisis. It is struggling to survive. In 1977, as we know, Puneet, it was the first time that the Congress lost power at the center, and lost very badly. So much so that Indira Gandhi herself lost, Sanjay Gandhi lost, and there was the two-third or more than two-thirds, some would say three-fourths of Congress party left Indira Gandhi. So Indira Gandhi was left with just one-third or one-fourth of the party. She was expelled from the Congress, and it happened on the first day of January 1978, when there were two kind of meetings took place. The CWC of 24 members, they were equally divided, but President Brahmanand Reddy, he expelled her. And I have written in my book that Bhuta Singh went to her, to Brahman Reddy, saying that she's Nehru's daughter, she is the Congress. And Reddy said, no, we have expelled her because of how we lost 1977. So with that baggage, it was not a formal office as we see. So here the kind of similarity ends. But 24 Akbar Road was not an office. It was not like if you see 9 Kotla Marg, or you earlier you were talking about 7 Jantar Mantar or various other addresses, that Anand Bhavan. See, they were full-fledged offices. Party office is something, when you think of party office has a structure, it has office-like things, and it has a lot of workstation, rooms, whatever you want to call it. 24 Akbar Road was a Type 7 house. That means it had 7 big rooms. It was allotted to G. Venkat Swamy, who was a Congress member of Parliament from United Andhra, and he loaned it to party. So if you go to 24 Akbar Road, you will see there is no plaque, there is no like foundation stone or construction or inauguration. So it all happened in a very haphazard manner amid a lot of crisis. And some people like Bhuta Singh, Antule, Mir Qasim, who all were loyalists of Indira Gandhi, handful of them important people. Pranab Mukherjee, of course, he was a treasurer at that point of time of the what was called Indira Congress. They moved in. So there is a similarity in the sense of the kind of crisis the party is facing now, existential crisis. Remember, Puneet, they're shifting at a time when Delhi Assembly elections are coming, where people say that the Congress will not go below. When they say Congress will not go below, it means that the Congress
Yeah,
was it getting a zero. So whether they're going to
right,
get 1 to 5 seats, and that is where this. And look at vote percentage, 4.5%. People are talking about 2% vote. So this is real crisis that the Congress is facing. There are 5 states, Puneet, where the Indian National Congress, the grand old party, does not have a single legislator, which is very telling
right.
commentary.
And in 78, when they moved in, this was, in a sense, I mean, with Indira as the central figure, the second split of the party after 69. But then the 78 situation was dramatically different because of the political performance of the Congress also. And pretty much, or in fact, a worse scenario that we see the Congress in today, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, please go ahead.
No, no, just a split. When 1969 split was in favor of Indira Gandhi. So
Yeah,
split happened, though they lost 7 Jantar Mantar, but fact of the matter was that they held power. So people are not so much bothered about building in structure. They are bothered about power. So Indira Gandhi had checkmated that Congress organization, which was supposed to be, all those veterans were there, including Murad Desai, Babi Chavan, and several others. So she emerged as a very powerful player and an actor, and she got this subsequently the presidential election in which VV Giri defeated the official Congress candidate Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. So all these things happened. So I think because why I'm saying, because your podcast is heard and seen by many youngsters. So 69 split was, in that case, was different. 69 split actually helped Indira Gandhi. It made Indira all more powerful. But post emergency 77, it was a different chapter because the Congress lost and became, politically speaking, zero.
right. And then 78 onwards, they move into 24 Akbar Road. And by 1980, you see the Congress bouncing back. Uh, the address remains the same, of course, but be, beginning 1980, there are a lot of machinations that go on in the Congress, as they had in earlier in the Congress earlier too. But then you see the Congress, uh, a very different form of the Congress party 1980 onwards. Uh, Whether it's with regard to its shrinking footprint in the country in the subsequent decades, or the overall functioning of the party, the flavor, so to speak, of the Congress office. Could you shed some light on how this whole kind of gradual but certain transition in the practice of the Congress, the functioning of the Congress, and then of course its rough and tumble in the subsequent years?
Yeah. So I think, Puneet, you have raised a very pertinent issue and a very important one. I always tell my friends, fellow journalists, students, anybody who has interest in Indian politics, that the history of Congress is very different from story of Congress. Here, Puneet, I am telling you the story of Congress. History of
Yeah.
Congress would be written that, how many years Congress ruled, how many years it didn't rule, who was the president, who was that. But story of Congress is slightly somewhat different. It is more earthly, it is more real, it is more nuanced, it has more, characters. So therefore, what happened was that when Indira Gandhi moved into 1978, and there was a lot of struggle. There was a lot of shortage of funds. The Congress, by the way, was in very financially was also in very bad shape. So anybody would visit to, and what had happened in the four southern states, the Congress had done reasonably well, and that's where they had 140 or so Lok Sabha seats. So any MP coming from south used to, that time Bhutta Singh would ask for a donation of 100 rupees. 100 rupees was a big amount. Anybody, Karyakarta coming from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, all the rest of India, they would, Bhutta Singh would take 10 rupees, 20 rupees, something like that. He would sometimes, bring, there was no canteen, there was no food for those AICC staff and Karamcharis who were working there. So he would go to Gurudwara and bring, langar, halwa puri.
Yeah.
He'll distribute that.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
so I'm saying management, the car. So, many small things like today, you see the all Congress people, it's Congress is very poor party of very rich people. So you see, if you go to 24 Akbar Road, you will see very fancy cars zipping in and, coming in and going out. At that time, Bhutta Singh had to resort to, a taxi stand at Janpat, and that fellow would give it on credit. I mean, free of cost. For
Right.
Indira Gandhi would not have a car. Can you imagine? And so Bhutta Singh would arrange, take a favor from a fellow Sikh, from the Sikh Janpat taxi stand, and send it to Indira Gandhi. And it was like on a goodwill, that means no money. So this is what I'm saying. So we don't, get to hear or get to know these things in any books of history. Now coming to the question that you're saying. So what happened then? Indira Gandhi, of course, there was a downfall of a very interesting thing, a downfall of Morarji first, and then Indira Gandhi extended support to Charan Singh, and then Charan Singh fell. Elections were called, and Indira Gandhi comes back to power. Now, when things look good, suddenly a big tragedy occurs. On the 23rd of June, 1980, Sanjay Gandhi dies, who was groomed
Yeah.
as a sort of Uttaradhikari, heir apparent and all. It was and it was very tragic. It demoralizes Indira Gandhi, and a kind of intense power struggle starts in our household between Maneka Gandhi, widow of Sanjay, and a reluctant Rajiv Gandhi. Reluctant in the sense that he was a, Indian Airlines pilot, and his wife and children, and he was leading a kind of, so to say, happy life. He comes in. Now, when he comes in, he comes with the modern thoughts and ideas. So 24 Akbar Road starts losing, prominence. That's where the khadi topi, dhoti, kurta pajama politicians were there. Rajiv sets up different workstations in different places. He brings a lot of youngsters or people with a lot of ideas and modernity, and that's where they start. So all Asian Games and all happen. And then Punjab was on boil. So Punjab separatism, terrorism, all those things comes in, leads, and ending again in a very tragic incident. First as Operation Blue Star, and second phase was, Indira Gandhi's assassination that happened in October 31st. So, and then there is a sort of, crisis of confidence again, but a new leadership emerges. Rajiv Gandhi, economic reforms, I mean, economic restructuring,
Yeah.
modernization starts. But ideologically, the Congress is, constantly shifting. Indira Gandhi between 80 to 84, I think you were referring to that part also, tries to
Yeah.
appease, so to say, what we call it, the Hindu right. And then, of
Right.
course, Rajiv Gandhi also does it in the what we know as the Shabano case, and Ram Janmabhoomi
The
movement,
Shilanyas. Yeah.
like Shilanya,
Yeah.
first that opening of that locks. It's a very
Yeah.
interesting story. What people say that action reaction, I don't believe, because the timeline is very different. I mean, it's not related to your
Mm.
subject, but the unlocking of Ram Janmabhoomi was not. Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid structure was not part of any quid pro quo to Shabano judgment,
Right.
and so. These were the two different events, but anyway, that's a different subject. As I said, lot of things are happening. And what is the role of 24 Akbar Road? It is a mute spectator. It does not have a practical role. In the sense, party goes in background and personalities come to dominate.
Right. So subsequently, once when Rajiv comes into the picture, one could even call him perhaps the first technocrat politician of within the Gandhi family. A reluctant person, but with a very modern outlook, with new ideas, often in contrast with the political sort of entrenched politicians of the Congress party of the day. Uh, and of course, that 1985 speech which he made, where he, in a way, took the entire old brass of the Congress to task, in Bombay. Uh, so, does the Congress then start moving in a very different direction, or, of course, personality oriented Congress and personality driven Congress, but politically, does it start moving in a very different direction 1985 onwards? Or is it more and more of the same, but with a different kind of narrative?
So I think I'm glad you are raising these issues because people need to know a lot more. As I keep repeating, the history of Congress is very different from story of Congress, and that is where I think Rajiv Gandhi did a lot than what is being credited to him. You look at the series of accords he had. It was not only that Punjab Accord took place. Arjun Singh was made, a governor of
Governor,
Punjab. He
yeah,
was made even vice earlier. He was made vice president of Congress party. He was a chief minister in a day. He takes oath as chief minister. Next day he's sent as a governor of Punjab.
governor,
Very dramatic developments between Bhopal and Delhi at that point of time. So Rajiv Gandhi was full of ideas. Then Longowal Accord take place. Then Mizo Accord takes place. There are Assam Accord takes place. These accords played a very big role. Puneet, today, if there is a sort of degree of calmness and sort of non-violence in many states, I mean, of course, we cannot talk about Manipur because Manipur, and at that time Manipur was not a problematic state as it is today. So, but the other states, so Mizoram, for instance, was a very big, a problem state, and so was Assam.
yeah,
Rajiv Gandhi brought, a lot of healing touch to that, and even now, that sort of, nation benefits from those accords. So he had a policy of accords. Of course, he did a sort of misadventure in Sri Lanka, but that was also
mhm,
on advice of a lot of, bureaucracy as well as army, armed forces, etc. I mean, again, it's fact of the matter. The people, it was not Rajiv Gandhi's own decisions. Of course, when Rajiv gets credit, he should also get the blame. But point I'm saying is on the crucial matters of defense and foreign policy, the inputs from the MBA, MOD, Army chief, all those things, or for the better, somebody who's ambassador in Sri Lanka, High Commissioner, all these things matter a lot. So this was all decisions were taken on the basis of these inputs. But Rajiv Gandhi was called, was Mr. Clean. He was in hurry. He wanted to do a lot of things and modernization of defense that led to Bofors scandal. And he brought in, in the decision making, there were two Aruns, Nehru, Arun Singh, both came from corporate background. Amitabh Bachchan, he was also a kind of childhood friend of Rajiv, key advisor, Uttar Pradesh. So what happened in the process? Pranab Mukherjee, ML Fatehdar, a lot of people who got into who are Kamalapati's party. I can go on naming many people who are very sort of important people. They start getting sidelined. So there are a lot of internal struggle takes place. VP Singh is brought in as a finance minister. He was the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. He sensed that there is an opportunity. So as a finance minister, he was a Kejriwal of that era within the Congress.
yeah,
So what he does is he picks, people who are friends of Rajiv Gandhi or known to, close to a business house that had some interest in Doon school, etc. The people are targeted and atmosphere of sort of uncertainty develops. And it's a total. So point I'm saying is Congress of Nehru, Congress of Shastri, Congress of Indira, becomes very different from Congress of Rajiv Gandhi.
Rajiv,
And those people like P. Shiv Shankar and several others who tried to bring, reason. P.V. Narasimha Rao was also a very important man. You see, Rajiv's trust in P.V. Narasimha Rao was so much that when Indira Gandhi was assassinated and when her funeral procession, started, Rajiv Gandhi asked P.V. Narasimha Rao and Mohsina Kidwai to lead that procession. Now, this was an honor. Lot today, people say a lot of things. And Puneet, you as a astute political
Yeah.
reporter and correspondent, you must have heard that people say, "Oh, Gandhis, they didn't give importance to P.V. Narasimha Rao." No, it's untrue, because P.V. Narasimha Rao was made, was asked, and along with Mohsena Kidwai, who was a very close associate of Indira Ji, to lead that procession. And this is an honor that was given to. So P.V. Narasimha Rao was had that kind of honor. Of course, in that Sonia Gandhi, I mean, that when he became prime
Yeah.
minister, of course, Rao Saab also was a maverick. He played politics and he tried to, as we know, Jan Hawala case and all those things. He also benched a lot of active Congress people. So there was a lot of dislike. And by the time his death, took place, he was living a totally secluded, a political life. And what happened when his body, so the children, and it was an agreement, because why I'm talking about all these things, because this is a very big issue about relating to 24 Akbar Road. So what happened, and there was a meeting in which Ahmed Patel and the Prabhakar Rao and all of them were there, and Prabhakar Rao being son of Narasimha Rao, and they expressed the view that they would want to take the mortal remains of P.V. Narasimha Rao to Hyderabad. And the body was brought in, and it was everybody was in hurry. It was had a sort of halt stopover outside. So in that
Yeah.
sense,
Outside
what I'm
24 Akbar Road. Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
24 hours. But that was
Yeah.
not as per design, that, Arjun Singh came to that, building and said that, I would not let this to happen. That was not the case. Mr. Arjun Singh had certain differences with P.V. Narasimha Rao, but in hour of, grief and tragedy, they've been, colleagues. Let's not forget, I mean, when P.V. Narasimha Rao became Prime Minister, he was not a member of any house. So Mr. Arjun Singh was leader of the house in Lok Sabha. How did it function? So I am saying there is a lot of things. That is why I keep bringing this element of, the history of Congress is very different from story of Congress. And here at Federal with me, Puneet, we are talking about story of Congress Party.
So, Mr. Kidwai, it's also the same address. And for those who may be unfamiliar with the layout of, 24 Akbar Road, it also shares a sort of common entrance with 10 Janpat, the address of Sonia Gandhi. Uh, Subsequently, after Rajiv's assassination, Mr. Narasimha Rao's, sort of tumultuous tenure as prime minister, uh, and then this prolonged period, in a sense, through the 90s of a non Gandhi led Congress and a non Gandhi led government of the Congress for the first half of that decade. You had that whole episode of Mr. Sitaram Kesari and, at 24 Akbar Road, and then Sonia Gandhi's entry into politics, her, literally walking over from 10 Janpat to 24 Akbar Road in a sense, and taking over the Congress presidency. If you could talk a little about that phase of, and the events that unfolded at that address back then.
Yeah. So unfortunately, buildings don't have, eyes and ears and the power of
Yeah.
speech. Otherwise, they would have narrated a fascinating story of that, dramatic events that you're talking about. So, and of course, that physical distance between, 10 Janpat and 24 Akbar Road is it just a wall separates them. So it is a wicket gate. So anybody from 10 Janpat can anytime come to 24 Akbar Road, and 24 Akbar Road, also subject to a kind of security clearance, can reach the party office. I mean 10 Janpat within less than a minute. So what happened? See, again, that Sitaram story, Kesari story. You see, Mr. Kesari became the Congress president after Narasimha Rao was given marching order by the Congress party in Parliament first, and then again, and then by the by the AICC. So when Narasimha Rao goes, so who comes in? Sonia Gandhi was, of course, not willing to take the mantle of leadership of the Congress. AK Antony was not willing, and then Sitaram Kesari's name came up. Everyone thought that Mr. Kesari would be a very good, pliable person. When Kesari comes in, and that's the time when United Front government was formed, where the Congress was extending support from outside, and all those the breakaway various Janata Dal non BJP all non Congress people were there, and HD Devegowda was a prime minister. So Kesari was relying more on Mulayam Singh Yadav, Sharad Yadav, Lalu Yadav, all those things, because Kesari ji, according to Congress, was a bit, casteist. He would always look at who's a Rajput, who's a Brahmin, and he had a intense personal dislike for the upper caste, and he would always go for the weaker sections, and particularly somewhat weak, backwards. And the Congress did not have a lot of bandwidth, political bandwidth, with backward classes. So therefore there was a lot of problems. And Kesari was not a mass leader. Puneet, you will be surprised when this election of 98 took place. Mr. Kesari, who was a Congress president, did not step out of his house. Not one public
Yeah.
meeting. One meeting he was going to Jalandhar, and there was a non-pressure aircraft, so he developed some health issue, so he had to be brought back. Okay, so that is why I'm telling you in a nutshell about Kesari legacy. What happens then? Congressmen get restless. Pranab Mukherjee takes charge, and Jitendra Prasad, who was the vice president, father of Jitin Prasad,
Jitin.
they all hold meetings, and everybody comes in except for Tariq Anwar and one more person. Everybody in the CWC gets together and says enough is enough. We need to get rid of Mr. Sitaram Kesari. Pranab Mukherjee picks up the Congress constitution and finds a clause where they say in extraordinary circumstances the CWC can do this and all those. So they kind of the plot. And then they go to Sonia Gandhi, and Sonia Gandhi says, "How do I take over?" And they said, "Leave it to us." Then the meeting takes place, and in the meeting, that time Jitendra Prasad was vice president of the Congress party. He starts reading a kind of what do you call that? A thank you, note for that,
Yeah.
thanking Sitaram Kesari's services. Kesari ji struggles. Kesari ji says, "Ye kya ho raha hai?" He looks around. He says, "Gulam." He shouts at Tariq Anwar, and everybody was, even Manmohan Singh was brought in by in the CWC by Sitaram Kesari,
Yeah.
such Rajesh Pilot. Several stalwarts were there. The Congress at that time was full of. Everyone remains quiet. Kesari ji leaves in half outside. There is a crowd, and the crowd is raising slogans against Kesari. And of course, since I have written in the book, someone pulls a dhoti, and Kesari ji gets very angry, and of course he just leaves in a huff. Then Sonia Gandhi is brought in by the same set of people, Pranab and Jitendra Prasad and everybody, Arjun Singh, and they kind of bring Sonia, and they say in Sonia, and they tell Sonia Gandhi to take over. Sonia Gandhi says, "Where is Sitaram Kesari ji?" They said Sitaram Kesari ji has gone home and he was not feeling good. Not good in the sense, it's not that he was feeling slighted.
Yeah.
Then Sonia Gandhi went to his house in the afternoon and apologized. And I went and met Kesari ji just half an hour after that, after Sonia Gandhi left. And he was again to his grateful, what a gracious person she is. And all, or most of his anger was directed against all those Pranab, Jitendra Prasad and several others who had plotted. So this is, I'm saying, insult, yes, but again, is everything is contextual, and we must understand that what was the. So Kesari was very unpopular within the Congress because that he could not deliver them power. He could not manage that united front because HD Devegowda came in, then Gujral came in, then Gujral also had to go, and then elections, and then Vajpayee came, and that's how. So, and of course, one very important thing, Puneet, we must mention, not in passing, that large number of congressmen, Aslam Sher Khan, and then Kumar Maglam, many stalwarts of that era, Suresh Kalmadi, several of them, they left the Congress to join the BJP, and even Bhuta Singh, who we keep talking about as a key figure relating to 24 Akbar Road. So they all go. So there is a lot of anxiety in the Congress. Mamta had left during Sitaram Kesari's time. All these things happened during Kesari's time, so there was a restlessness, and of course, Mr. Kesari was insulted. But to say that 10 Janpat had a hand, I think that is a bit rich and exaggerated.
And then we see subsequently a sort of, a unified command of 10 Janpat 24 Akbar Road. And Sonia Gandhi brings in an element of stability to the Congress, a Congress that has gone through kind of almost a decade of tumult. And then eventually brings, the party back to power in a coalition, the UPA. Those those years of the UPA and the years immediately preceding the formation of the UPA, they, in a sense, and particularly after the Congress comes to power in 2004, by then a lot of ground has been lost for the Congress. But, you know, the 10 years of the UPA government, while there is stability in the first half, of course, a lot of kind of corruption and stability in the allegations and all in the second half of the UPA. But through this, Sonia Gandhi's leadership, some people always often accused her of being too status quoist, but then the Congress remained a sort of stable figure in a sense, even though that stability also meant that it was just where it was. Those 10 years, the electoral footprint that was lost, barring a slight uptick in 2009 due to various reasons, including the performance of the Manmohan Singh government in the first UPA. The Congress doesn't expand much. It doesn't recover lost ground in states where it had been pushed to a fringe. Uh, in state assemblies, its condition remains much the same. Uh, but there is the figure of Sonia Gandhi around which the party could rally. And that gives a sense of stability to the Congress at that point in time, after all that instability of the 90s. So, how important was that period, in in for the Congress and Sonia's leadership of of the party at that point in time?
Yeah. So I think, Puneet,
Because
you
you're
have
also a
given.
biographer of Sonia Gandhi.
Yeah, so Puneet, I think you have
Yeah.
given a very good assessment and a kind of overview of this period, and I'm in total agreement with it. But I just want to say one thing. Actually, a British journalist who was posted in India many years ago, Trevor Fishlock, and he had said that nothing is simple in India. Whatever you
Mm.
say about India, the opposite is equally true. So similarly, you can say that a lot of things what you're saying about the Congress, the opposite is also is worth deliberating upon. See, the Congress came to power, which was the extraordinary feat from a Congress point of view in 2004, and it continued till 2014. So there's 10 years of power was a great, one can say, argue it was a glorious period, because the Congress in 90s, as you're saying, was in shambles, and it was struggling to come up. There were a lot of corruption allegations were there were poor leadership. Sonia Gandhi in the history books is the longest serving Congress president in the history, 140 years of history. She was there for almost 22, 23 years as Congress president. This is one thing that she scores over Nehru, Indira, Rajiv, and everybody in the rest of the Congress. So therefore, and of course, her story is extraordinary, because considering that she came from a background and which are understanding India, working here, and finding this. Remember, Congress is not a easy political party to manage. There are so many contradictions. It's not ideologically driven. It does not have a very fixed agenda. If you ask me what is the ideology of Congress, I'll say that okay, I'll present a paper. So I cannot just sum up in a
Yeah.
line or two, the way the left parties can, or the way BJP can. So all those challenges, extraordinary story of Sonia Gandhi. Those you mentioned me as a independent biographer. Of course, I would suggest people to have a look. At least you will get a glimpse of what she's called Sonia biography. Coming to your question, I think if we say that UPA years were a very glorious years for the Congress, yes, but a big no from a party's point of view, because no big idea came from 24 Akbar Road. All those ideas, as you know, Sonia Gandhi formed this NAC, National Advisory Council. The National Advisory Council, incidentally, Puneet, was under the Prime Minister. So all those who say that the NAC was trying to supersede the Prime Minister are grossly wrong, purely in terms of facts, because all the NAC members, their whatever salary, perks, daily allowances, bhatta, car, secretarial staff, that was all coming from the same Prime Minister, that being Dr. Manmohan Singh. So it was the NAC was under PMO. Even Sonia Gandhi's staff, like that Pillai and Madhavan, their salaries
Yeah.
were coming from from the PMO. So this is a fact part, but of course it's true that no big idea came from 24 Akbar Road. Very few ministers would go there. That period between 4 and 14, you covered it, and so there was a sense of despondency because the Congress was only doing coalition dharma, and this is of course a problem. Mr. Bajpayee also faced this coalition dharma problem. Mr. Modi, by getting that 14 and 19 mandate in a very comprehensive manner, would not, and the way the politics emerged even after 24, it will look as if, you see, the NDA has a majority, so he will not have that kind of coalition problem that Vajpayee or Manmohan Singh had faced. So therefore I think, to sum up, the problem of the Congress was that it could not initiate any major socio-economic agenda. It could not attract the new voters. What Rahul Gandhi is talking about is today, talking about all those Jati Jangarna and caste-based reservation and all. I think he is at least 10, 15, 20 years late. If Rahul had raised these issues when UPA was in power, but if, I mean, there are no ifs and buts in politics, but things would have been drastically different. So Congress remained very status quo. Of course, it did a lot in terms of economic field and foreign policy, countries development. A lot of this direct cash benefits we are talking about, welfareism. They all have a roots in Dr. Manmohan Singh's thinking. So Manmohan Singh and Sonia had this motto that economic right and social left. So they doled out a lot of this welfareism, and of course today the delivery mechanism has improved, and more so, Mr. Modi knows how to take credit, and people believe him. Manmohan Singh never tried to take any credit, and so was Sonia Gandhi. So they were very sort of shy people. If you look at the key persons of UPA, who were the key? A.K. Antony, Ahmed Patel, of course Sonia Gandhi, Manmohan Singh. They all kept a very low profile. They were nice people, but they were not very, they would not tom about their achievements, etc. And therefore, there was a perception that they are not doing anything. And of course, they neglected mainstream media, social media, and all. That's another chapter. Point I'm saying is the good years that 24 Akbar Road saw, but it had, I mean, as I said, if a building had life, it craved for more. It was actually, it didn't benefit from the political power that the Congress was enjoying at that point of time.
The period after that, which comes, of course, we see a very brief, almost just, 15-month period of Rahul Gandhi's presidency, and then the 2019 debacle happens. He steps down from the Congress presidency. Uh, we, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi has to come in as interim president. You have G23, and then, ultimately, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, a non-Gandhi Congress president again. And through this period, the back-to-back defeats of the Congress, and 24 Akbar Road almost becomes like a ghost entity. The kind of activity, hyperactivity one associated with the Congress office, uh, almost evaporated at one point in time. You would walk into the Congress office and just see the usual staff of the party. As long as Mr. Motilal Vora was around, you would see him sitting in his office, and that was about it. So today, now, when the Congress prepares to leave 24 Akbar Road, in a sense, one would say new building but old challenges. But this last period or last leg in 24 Akbar Road, of course, some of the as far as we know, the party is still going to retain that bungalow for the moment, and some of its cells might continue to function from there, or it may be put to use for strategy meetings or whatever. But the last phase at 24 Akbar Road is, as you also said at one, in the beginning, is almost reminiscent of the first phase of 24 Akbar Road. 1978 and 2024, it's almost a similar situation. And also, a kind of irony that this 9A Kotla Road was allotted to the Congress when the Congress was in power. The UPA government, in 2009, 15 long years for the Congress to move into this office building. Uh, The BJP also allotted land at the same around the same time on Deen Dayal Upadhyay Marg adjoining Kotla Road. There's a different story which you could relate about Kotla Road and the address at Kotla Road for the Congress and the address for the BJP at Deen Dayal Upadhyay Marg. Uh, but you know, it also says, the Congress struggling with funds like in 78, even today, finding it difficult, 15 long years to move into a new office. The BJP in the meantime has built a lavish office as well as an annexi on that same road. To wrap up, if you could talk about this period.
Yeah, so I think again I must compliment you. You have summed it very well. One of those I think the biggest challenge with the Congress is that it is inability to reinvent itself. In 1978, it managed to reinvent itself. There was, of course, sense of disappointment and failure was there, but there was a resolve among Congress party people. After what is the party? Party belongs to the kind of leadership you have and the kind of workers you have, the kind of managers you have. So there was a determination. They did not lose their self confidence, and that in 78 they had a faith that Indira Gandhi would be able to make them successful again. Now the same
Mhm.
faith is not there, perhaps in the equal measure in Indira's grandson Rahul Gandhi. People say he's a very fine man and he, of course, talks sense and he's making a lot of very pertinent point, but he is not able to, politically beat the BJP or or Narendra Modi or whatever, or the challenges that are there. I think the big difference is that there is a lot of, we need to, pose this question in a different way, that whether the Gandhis are failing the Congress or Congress is failing Gandhis. Because you look at that in 1970, 77, 78, as I said, a lot of people left, but they did not join, the Bharatiya Janasangh, which was the earlier avatar of the BJP. They found their regional parties, or they, and there was a kind of Congress S was there. And Congress S, actually, many people came and joined, all Lambika Soni and several others. They joined the parent organization after A.K. Antony. Several people, they joined. Now, what do you see, Puneet, in between from 14 onward, 150 Congress people have left the Congress to join the BJP. Now, this is bizarre. You look at, if failure, I can imagine political loyalty is highly transactional. It's based on give and take. But, and as I said, in 77, Indira Gandhi could not deliver, so people left. But they formed their own Congress, the idea of Congress, and they came back. Here, you go to to the other side. You look at the left parties. Left parties are not doing well at all for past 1 decade or longer. How many people do you see have left? The CPI, CPM.
Mhm.
How many of them have joined? Forget about Trinamool or BJP, even Aam Aadmi Party. These are the things we need to deliberate upon. These are all very, so this is not a failure of Gandhis in that sense, and that is where I said the question whether Gandhis are failing the Congress or Congress is failing, Gandhis. There is a over dependence, just like cricket, that Sachin is there, he'll do it. Kohli is there, he'll do it. You see, it's 11 players they need to do. Of course, Kohli is the star, Rohit is the star, earlier Sachin or Dhoni. But you see, the Congress mindset is that only, that somebody, a Masiha will come, or somebody who is a central figure, and Priyanka, whoever is there, they will deliver, and we did not do anything, and that is something that is bothering the Congress's, I mean, what I call it, existential crisis is there, because the congressmen are not confident about themselves. Congress is not allergic. Congress is allergic to change. Congress is not, no big ideas coming from the Congress. It's all borrowed. Even today, Puneet, as someone who understands Congress very well, all those ideas that are coming are coming from people who have roots in left parties or
Yeah.
socialist parties. I don't want to take names of those players. Rahul Gandhi seems very deeply influenced by them, rather than they getting influenced by the Congress history, legacy, ideology, philosophy, all those things. So these borrowed ideas don't work in politics. You need to get your own thing and redefine, fine tune, like Mr. Modi has done, like Atal Bihari Vajpayee had done. There are several others are also doing it. And there is no kind of ever at any point of time talk of bringing Sharad Pawar and Mamata Banerjee and Jagan Mohan Reddy and several others to break away. If I ask you what is the ideology of NCP, what is the ideology of YSR Congress, it's same. It's ditto same. If you look at their
Yeah.
manifesto, they just cut and paste the Congress thing. So there should have been structured negotiations and all kind of thing. A lot of thousand things could have been done, but nothing. When surgery was required, the Congress always opted for homeopathy, and that's the tragedy of the Congress.
Right. Pleasure talking to you, Mr. Kidwai, and thank you so much. You've packed in a lot of information, in this brief time, and about a very long span of the Congress. As I said, they're moving to a new building, a new office, but with perhaps the same set of old challenges. Do keep following the federal. We'll bring you more such discussions. Thank you very much for joining.